it'll give you an idea of how we see the most successful companies that have successful implementations of ERP and AI, what they do and what their process is. So first, it's focusing on that strong and scalable foundation. So what we have to ask ourselves and us as a company, all levels from the executive team throughout the whole company, are you where you want to be, right? So what's the end goal in mind? So keeping that end goal in mind, starting with that end goal of mind. If you don't have a plan already, we need to assess where you are today, right? And then look at where the opportunities for improvement are, right? And you want to make sure people feel comfortable telling the truth in that. When you're looking at a lot of these processes, there's inputs from upstream things, like if something starts with estimating, you may have engineers or you may have sales involved there, right? And then it goes into order entry, right? And then it will go into planning and production, and then maybe out to the shop floor, and then it goes to quality, right? So you might have a different process than that, but you need to make sure that those people feel comfortable of why they're changing things, and they're part of the process flow, the value stream throughout your company, because it will help the company overall. But there might be some things that they don't like initially, to be frank, in their processes. So we have to make sure we understand the greater benefit to the company, and we also have to understand and make them feel comfortable talking about what their current challenges are or issues that they're experiencing day to day, because it's important that we lay those out and understand them and look at those as opportunities for improvement. Sometimes people don't feel comfortable with an executive in the room telling that. So we have to make sure that that's, that change management, that, openness is fostered in these sessions. And then, how does the downstream or upstream impact affect others, right? So one of the things that you might want to consider here is making sure whoever's doing this, whether it's an internal resource helping with this process mapping, the current state and then the future state and the value streams, they know how to do it. They've done it many times. They have experience with this. You want to make sure you have a cross-functional team that includes upstream and downstream, stakeholders in these processes. Those can include internal employees, obviously, but also customers and suppliers sometimes. Define clear scope for each process. Where's the start and end? And then make sure you have somebody that can help you, that has experience working with hundreds of customers like you or 100 companies like you, that can bring those best practices and that understand what all the technology can do if used creatively or if set up properly, how there's opportunities to improve efficiency, to automate the process and those kind of things. Right. So again, going to go through some of this quickly, but starting with mapping the current state, the tried and true way of doing that is still with sticky notes on a wall in a conference room with everybody in person together. But we have done these things virtually with virtual sticky notes on a Teams meeting or Zoom. You maintain that opportunity sheet. So we have all the challenges down. You might be focusing on one process right now, but something comes up that's an opportunity. Otherwise, we want to come back to that, right? So keep that parking lot. And then for the future state, start with a clean slate. Don't let what you're doing today, kind of being allergic to what your current processes are, or allergic to that phrase, doing what we've always done, right? That's how we've always done it. So start with that clean slate. Eliminate any unnecessary handoffs and sign-offs is one of the opportunities for efficiency. And sometimes you need those sign-offs, absolutely. But there's an opportunity there. And then identifying areas for the technology to support you in those efficiencies and efforts. Defining those key metrics. So again, starting with that end in mind, what are the metrics that you want to change positively, right? And are we making sure the process is going to get you there? And do we have a way to measure them? And do we have it visible to everybody that needs to have it visible to? Because measuring and showing what's happening can affect behavior. And then define those process owners. So when you're preparing for change, make sure you prepare your company and your leadership for change. That we need to improve teamwork together. Sometimes you might want to go through like a DISC assessment where you can understand the motivations and why different people with different DISC profiles or different personalities, why they're doing what they're doing, right? It helps with the team. It helps with change, right? And involve all those employees. Now, these slides I'm going to fly through, but some of the common things we find when doing these business process assessments, where we're looking at current state and the desired future state, for example, in estimating, there may be a manual costing effort where, integration to SolidWorks could bring that bill of material over. The ERP has the cost for all that information, and it can give you, the pricing data, after you mark it up, the estimating data that you need. Or you might need a configurator, right? If you have options and preferences, things of that nature, you might need a CPQ or an enterprise quoting solution. There may be an opportunity for AI, right? So we talked about that with that pricing example earlier. Order entry, same thing. You might have a paper contract review process. Some of our customers that are in A&D or medical fields, they have to have multiple sign-offs at order entry that could go through quality or engineering. They need that sign-off as part of their process. And we've seen that on pieces of paper. The paper gets lost on a desk, and then, it takes 8 days to get it approved. Where if you have a workflow or automated workflow or event management system in your technology platform or ERP, it can automate that and shorten that down to a period of, a couple of hours or minutes, right? Another AI examples there. Engineering, there's always opportunities there. Purchasing, additional opportunities there. Same with production. I'm not going to name all of these on the screen, but for the sake of time, but you can see some of the common challenges and solutions. Inventory, right? Shipping, and of course, finance. So at the end state, you're going to have this value stream map of, hey, there's all these opportunities for technology to help. And then each of these green boxes have their own process documents, and they would have additional opportunities. And with all those opportunities to change, you need to prioritize. What is going to have the biggest bang for what is going to give us or you the biggest bang for your buck, right? So you can't do it all at once. I know we've all tried, and typically that means that we have a bunch of projects mid-flight or taking a lot longer than we thought they would. So if you can focus, you can get these things knocked off and then use that quarterly approach to continuously improve afterwards. So what we like to use is an impact difficulty matrix, otherwise known as an Eisenhower matrix, where in the bottom left hand, low difficulty, low impact. These are typically things that you can do without investing in new technology that you might be able to do yourself without any help from a company like us. So we point those out, give you some suggestions, and you can go get those done within a matter of days, right? So low impact, low difficulty. And then what we want to look at next is things that have low difficulty, high impact, unless there's something in that top right-hand corner that's really going to transform the business, high impact, but high difficulty. And then understand those priorities, put a project in place. These kind of things are probably going to take a project, right? So we put that project in place and support your efforts there. So that's really steps 1 through 4 in that roadmap. And then we get into step 5, right? And this is where the technology comes in. But when you're looking at new technology, for example, if you're using an older on-premise potentially based system that doesn't have extensibility like APIs, or that would require you going out there and getting like an iPaaS solution, a low-code, no-code solution, helping with security, all these things that come in a platform, you're going to want to look at what other options are out there. Before you do, there's 3 important factors. Now, a few years ago, before COVID, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, your partner and your product are really the main 2 deciding points. You want to have a partner that had a deep bench. If they only had 3 or 4 people that could support you on a project, if one of them wins the lottery or goes on an extended vacation, that could affect your project. So you want a deep bench, and you want to make sure they've done lots of implementations with referenceable customers in your specific type of industry, right? Micro vertical or specific type of manufacturing or distribution. So the right partner is important. The right product is obviously important. You need the features that will support that future state goals on there. And you want to focus on those things that are important to you in that impact matrix. But the third thing today that is so important, if you want to get to AI, if you want to be competitive 3, 5, 7, 10 years from now, you need to have that platform. So we'll talk about that as well. So those are the 3 Ps. Now, choose the right partner. again, I already kind of went through a lot of this. Need references, worked in your industry. They have a turnkey approach. Like, for example, at WM Synergy, we help with continuous improvement. We help with change management. We can help with lean and Kaizen events. But we also have hundreds of people that have done 1,800 ERP implementations, data governance and data cleanup and migrations from systems that you might be on now. We can do cloud hosting on our environment or in the public cloud, right? We have an understanding of compliance and security, and again, offer that turnkey approach for manufacturing and distribution companies. So some tips: meet the team, not just the sales reps that are in the demos or that are talking to you on the calls, but meet the people that are doing the services, right? You want to make sure those personalities match, that they really have the experience, that they're going to be the ones that are really on your project and not like a bait and switch. So you want to make sure you have those tips. You want to meet your executive sponsor at the partner you're working on. You want to have somebody in the executive team that knows about your business, knows about what you're trying to do, and that you can call if you need to. And talk to a couple customers, not just one. And then choose the right product. A lot of times, we look at these RFPs that come in, and they're thousands of lines or hundreds of lines long, and they're all things that you're probably already doing today. But if you're going to change, there's these future needs that are so important to your business, whether it's the AI solution with pricing, whether it's improving your delivery performance or quality performance, or closing your month end, or increasing your availability of parts and improving supply chain, or improving your supplier performance, finding better suppliers for certain parts that either have lower cost, better quality, or better delivery performance, right? So you want to make sure that the things that are going to really improve your business are top of mind. And those are the things you want to focus the demo and the RFPs on, right? So that's helping with choosing the right product. You want to make sure that if you're thinking about AI, that they're customer bill of rights. They're not selling that data or letting any other companies using that data. That's yours, and that you have access to that data at any time. And cybersecurity, of course, has to be important. So if you're in the cloud, what is their cybersecurity processes? What are they doing there? From SOC compliance, if you're an A&D, do you need CMMC compliance? Things like that.